Welcome, everyone. My name is Claire Pitts. I have been in the industry for 8 years now, and I started working for Light Elegance in 2020, and I became an educator in 2021. I really love the brand. I love the company. I love the people. It's just a great company to work for, and they're very focused on safety, which I love. And what drew me into Light Elegance was early on, I was using a different product and it wasn't working very well for me. And Light Elegance had all the beautiful colors and all the beautiful glitters. And Selena Ryan was using them, and I was using her videos to learn how to do nails at the time. So I was like, hey, if it's good for her, it's good for me. So I tried it out and I loved it so much. And I haven't looked back because it's just a great company. We're based in USA, Oregon-based company, and the family is great. So yeah, this is why I live Light Elegance. Let's see. Anyway, so we're here today to talk about NASNA. Okay, so I was in a nail competition here recently. You guys probably heard about it. It's the North America Star Nail Artist Competition put on by Scratch Magazine. And it was very interesting to be in this competition as a first timer. And that's what I'm going to talk to you guys about today. The things that I learned from this experience and some tips and tricks in that. So first off, I wanted to talk to you guys about how I heard about it. So I heard about it through Light Elegance, but I'm sure if you are an avid reader of Scratch, you would have heard about it that way. But I heard about it through Light Elegance. And so when I'm applying for the competition, they had you submit certain I forget how many it was. It might have been like 5 photos and a short video, an intro, and you had to give them your Instagram handle. So I'm assuming they could look at your social media and see your work. A couple of tips with that. If you are going to maybe apply for a competition like that, for your photos, I've never been a good indoor lighting person for photos. I don't know. I just don't know why I'm not good at it, but I'm just not. So I go outside for photos, and lucky me, I have white doors on my house. So I can go around and find a shady area that has the door shaded. You don't want it to be like direct sunlight. You want it to be sunny, but you don't want direct sunlight. You want it to be a little bit shaded. So you get the good lighting, but you don't have too much glare. And so that's just a tip from me to you. If you are struggling with photos, go outside and do them. It's so much easier. You get such better lighting, and they look amazing. So there's that. And for your video, so it was very short amount of time that you had to do this video. So I want to say it was like 40 seconds. And so what I did for the video so that I could keep it nice and short and sweet, because it was like very short and you had a lot of things that they wanted you to say within that video. So what I did was I printed out what they wanted us to say, and then I wrote out all of my answers to that. And then I just got ready, just like I am right now, just looking nice. Got in the window, so I had good lighting in the window, and got in a comfortable place. And so I just started recording myself, like, and I would just go mess up, stop it, start it, just keep going until it finally started to get the flow going in my head. And so that made it a lot easier for me to get it the way that I wanted it. And then once I was getting close to the way that I wanted it, then I was like cutting out little pieces of what I was saying to really chop it down so that it would fit. And if you're good at editing, you could probably just do it however you want it and then go back and chop it. But I'm not good at chopping and video editing, so I was just trying to get it within that time, and that's what worked for me. But you could also do it that way. You could edit it yourself if you wanted, if you're good at doing that kind of thing. But just a tip for me, that's just my experience and what I did. And so that was helpful to me in getting that done. And a couple of tips for that. So I use Animotica. It's an app for editing videos. I'm sure other people have like great suggestions. And if you do, at the end, let's discuss them, because I just use Animotica and it's okay. And I don't do a ton of video editing, so it's fine for me. But if you guys have a great suggestion on an awesome video editor or something, throw it in here. Like, we're here to discuss, and anything that we can do to help anybody that's trying to do this kind of thing, I think is awesome. And then also Canva is a good one that's helpful to do like thumbnail stuff at the beginning of your video. You can set it to be that certain ratio of video so that it can be just what they want it to be. So I think they did like the story ratio, which is like 9:16, and you can put that in there. So then your tiles and everything will fit the video perfectly and it'll look nice and professional. Okay, so say we got accepted, which I did, but now what do you do? So my tips on this, practice ahead of time. I did not do this and I wish that I had. Definitely practice doing 3D elements because that competition that the first challenge that I did was the first time that I did anything 3D, like ever. And so that was interesting. And I ran some challenges with that. But that's okay. It's all a learning experience. But I would definitely recommend watching videos of people doing 3D elements because as I've followed this competition after I was in it, and two of our other educators, Hope and Ashley, they were still in it. And so I was still like with them in the whole thing. And I was seeing what everyone was doing, watching everyone's videos. And that was very helpful to me because I didn't know how to do all these things. So it was very cool to see everyone else and how they were doing that. I'm like, oh, okay. So they're like, using clay, they're using foil, like to make these big 3D elements or whatever they were doing. So that was helpful to and then you get inspired thinking about, oh, okay, that's cool. Like I could do this, I could do that. So definitely I would recommend ahead of time buying some sculpting products like that. So like clay, aluminum foil, wire, stuff like that, basic stuff that you might use to create those like maybe a big 3D effect kind of thing. I wouldn't recommend getting anything specific until you hear the challenge and then maybe once you get inspired and maybe what you're going to do, maybe then go shop a little bit if you're going to put some like different types of elements in there. You can use different things besides nail products specifically, but I think you want to try to keep it to as much nail product as possible, but you can also add some elements and stuff like that. So that would be definitely a recommendation from me on that. And then another one would be our Max Forms. These guys, amazing. So they have a really good, they're nice and stiff. They're not like super stiff, but they're like just that right amount of stiffness. And these are so easy to apply. I just love them so much. And you can put them together. So if you're going to do an extreme shape, you can just layer them together so you can have a nice long nail depending on what the challenge is. But these guys are really great for a lot of things. So I definitely recommend them because they're super easy to use and they're just great for those extreme length and different shapes that you would be doing probably in a competition like this. So definitely would recommend those. And also I would recommend this little guy, our flash dot. So you just turn this guy on and then he could sit on the table. And so he was really helpful when I was just like trying to and I had the nail holding the nail, and then I had another element that I was holding, and I can't show it to you this way, but and all you have to do is just touch the flash dot with the side of your finger or whatever, and you can just hold that nice and steady, and then you can get a nice flash cure if you're using gel to adhere your elements together. It was a really nice option, especially for stuff like that. It was much easier than trying to figure out some way that you can use your big lamp to do it or something like that. But another one that's great is the mini dot, because he was helpful too, because you can just like that. So you don't have to try to stick your hand in a lamp or something where you got like a big nail, like maybe it's a 3-inch nail or something like that. Can't get that in the lamp. So you can kind of at least get your elements cured somewhat before you put it in the big lamp, perhaps. This guy, I let him for everyday work as well, but definitely good for competition. You're trying to do those elements, you're stacking stuff, you're adhering little things that you've created to the nails and stuff. So you're gonna be doing a lot of that usually. Like I say, depending on the challenge, but it definitely in this competition there was quite a bit of that. So I would definitely recommend that. And also to buy a mount. I'm using an Archon mount, and I'm sure everyone's probably heard of Archon. They have a ton of different mounts. So whatever works for you, get one, practice with it, do some videos. A great practice, I think, is Instagram. So if you're nervous about that kind of stuff, just start doing it because it's going to make you better. I was nervous about doing this stuff too, and still am. I practiced this plenty before I got on this camera. And that's just what I feel like you have to do if you want to be able to do this kind of thing. So Instagram's a great practicing place. If you haven't done it, get on there, start making some little videos. It'll be great practice too. You can use your video editor and just start practicing how's the tools work and all of that in the video editor, in the photo editor. Then you start figuring those things out. And that's how I've learned how to do these things along the way too. It's just like practicing through Instagram and doing it that way. I also, about time management. So that's the next thing I want to talk about. So this was really tough for me. That first round, that first challenge was the light elegance training that we did for 2024. And so it cut out a little bit of time for us. But so I ended up taking the rest of that week off, which it ended up working out fine. But in the future, I would definitely first have something that I could remove those nails from my natural nails to save me time, because I could have started my nails ahead of time if I had something like that, but I didn't. I'd never been in a competition before. Clearly, I didn't really realize all these things that I know now and I'm sharing with you guys. But definitely figure out something with that. That way you can also keep your work afterwards. So that's a great thing. You can put it on display and so people can see like the cool stuff that you did. So that's really cool. And I wish that mine were a little bit, I had practiced a little bit more before I did the actual competition so that I knew how to do it just right so that I could keep everything like really nice. But that's okay. Like I say, it's all learning experience. I would recommend. So we had 2 weeks to do the challenge. And so if you're working every day still, and like, I would say probably you're going to spend at least an hour or two, at least I'd say after work every day, unless you're planning on like your day off, you're working on this all day because you're going to have to video everything, which is tough because if say you're in your salon space, if people are going to be coming in and out, that's not going to be great. So you just want to make sure you have that stuff like, I'm sorry, I just lost my train of thought. We had the LA training and yeah. So those 2 weeks, I would plan that out. If you're planning on doing that every day, then I would plan that and I would give yourself at least maybe 3 days before you're supposed to submit to start your video editing and your voiceover, because depending on your skill level as well. So like for me, I'm not good at videos, so I definitely think in the future, if I did this again, that's what I would give myself to make sure that I could get it done like the way that I wanted it and everything. But if you're really good at doing videos, like maybe you don't need as much time, but I would definitely give yourself plenty of time to make sure that you get that video, because that's what you're submitting as your, what you did. So you want it to be like really nice and the voiceovers to be good and all that. So definitely spend some time on that and try to get your stuff done ahead of time. Say all your videos done, because you're going to have to probably sort through video and figure out what pieces you want to put in, because your videos only they gave us 7 minutes, which sounds like a lot, but it's not really. Once you start chopping up all your videos and you're trying to show this and that and this and that, and then all of a sudden you got like all these little bits of video, and then when you're doing your voiceover, you're trying to talk about it all, and it's an experience. Definitely, I would time manage that, definitely, and just make sure you give yourself plenty of time for it. It sounds like, oh, it's a video, it's not probably going to be that bad, but it definitely is. It's definitely work, takes a lot of time. So that's what definitely my recommendation on that. And like I say before, practicing your video ahead of time is a great idea. Practicing doing videos is a great idea. And then you can also make a thumbnail ahead of time. If you know you're going to be in the competition and you want to make that thumbnail ahead of time, you can totally do that. It'll save you a lot of time. So that'd be a great idea. And then, like I said before, everything is a learning process, guys. There's not really a ton of, I failed. I only made it to the first round, and I really wanted to make it to the second round because that was the light elegance round, but I didn't. But that's okay. Like, I was like, I'm just gonna jump in here and we're just gonna try it and we're gonna see how it goes. And it was a great experience. I learned a lot. See, look at all the stuff I learned. So don't be afraid of that. Get in there. If you've thought about doing it, just get in there. There's tons of nail Olympia competitions. So there's tons of competing stuff that you can do. And it'll just, like I say, with other stuff, like the more you do something, the more you're going to feel comfortable with it. You're not going to feel comfortable at first. That's just not something that happens for like anyone. Next thing I want to talk about was sculpting tips. So like tips for sculpting your nails. And like I said before, I would get something to put down on your natural nails to make them removable. And I went over that, make it so that you can keep it for the future. And it also helps with applying those elements to the sculpted nail. So if you are you can remove it from your actual nail. Say it's a sculpting challenge and you have to sculpt it on your nail. So you can remove that nail, put it on a stand, and then you got your little flash dot, and then you got your stand, and then you can just say this is a 3D element. You can just hold it on there and then use your flash dot, bump them and turn them on and just get that on there like you want it. And what else do we got? Oh, I'd also recommend a good e-file. So ours is a Zippy, and she's amazing. She is super low vibrate, like there's really hardly any vibration at all, if at all, to our handpiece. It is very curvable and is wonderful, and it's very compact, and it's got great torque. I use it every day. It's great. So something along those lines you're going to want to get for a competition, just to save yourself time. If you're really good at application and you're really good at hand filing, more power to you. I personally cannot live without my e-file. I would probably have broken wrists and all kinds of things if I did all the hand filing. It is definitely helpful to have my Zippy to speed up that filing. And also the Lexi files are great, but some kind of, if you have one that you use, that's great. But a 100, 180 is everything. So I would definitely get something like that. Our Lexi files are great. They're definitely my favorite. And then, so just when you do something like this, guys, there's everybody there is in the same position as you. They're just the same as you, and they want to be friends too. So just talk to people, make a friend, be nail friends, and just never underestimate the power of networking. These kind of competitions like this just put you in front of industry leaders in the industry. And if you're looking to get jobs in the industry, you need to talk to people. Like, and it's not that bad. Like, coming from someone that is introverted and has anxiety, over the years, and actually coming into the nail industry is what broke me out of that more. And it was all about practice. It was practicing talking to people every day has now brought me out of that, and I'm okay to talk to people. Is it still a struggle for me? It is. But the more that I practice it, the better I am. Don't get scared to talk to people. There's one thing I've learned over the years, everyone is pretty cool. And like, I used to be so scared to talk to people that were like power figures and actually, a little quick story. When I met Jim McConnell, I was so like scared of him. I was like, want to talk to him, but I was like, I'm scared of him. And I didn't talk to him the first time that I met him in 2020. But now I would talk to Jim like anytime, and it's fine. Stuff like that. You just gotta practice talking and that, and you'll be fine. Like, just get out there and network. Like, that's how things happen for you. So definitely encourage you all to do that. And lift each other up along the way. There's enough for everyone, and positive energy attracts positive energy. The more you can be positive, the more things that are going to come your way. So I really recommend doing that. And to wrap it up, would I do a nail competition again? I think I would. I thought it was great skill building. I built a lot of skills during this, and it was, like I say, I learned a lot. Like, I know how competitions somewhat work now. Like, I wouldn't say I'm an expert or anything, but like I say, just getting in there and like seeing how things work. That's how it goes. So I would definitely do it for that, just to get like more of that knowledge. And just another thing to put in my toolbox. I'm always like trying to put new things in my toolbox, because then as you do other things, then you draw on those experiences, and it's just a great thing. And a competition like this, like I say, you can get a little bit of notoriety if you're trying to get your name out there in the industry. It's a great way to do it. So definitely would do that. And I was push myself professionally, which is always a good thing to do, because being a person who likes things super organized and just the way I like it, especially in my salon, I have things that way, and I am very comfortable here because that brings down my anxiety. But if I don't bust myself out of that every now and again, then I think I get a little bit too comfortable and I'm not pushing myself forward. That's why I feel like it's good to just maybe do something like this, like something, it's a new challenge we throw in there and get something, get stuff stirring a little bit so we don't get too stale. And that is all on NASNA, I think, guys. And so I did want to remind you guys that, you can visit lightelegance.com anytime. And we just redid our Light Elegance University program. So that's really exciting. I don't know if you guys checked it out yet, but I am a part of that, of course. And make sure you follow lightelegance.com, like on Instagram, YouTube, all that stuff, so you can stay up to date on what we're doing and any new education stuff that pops up. And next week, the Light Elegance Power Hour will be Christy Angel. So she'll be doing an awesome nail art design that's very mysterious that we don't know about yet, but I'll definitely try to be on to see her design. I think I will be. I think I have time. So that'll be awesome. And my code for lightelegance.com is Claire15. So if you want to get 15% off like any products or education, you can use that. And that's my affiliate code. So I get a commission off that. So I appreciate that very much if you guys want to make any orders. And I just want to thank you guys for being here and listening to me. It's super cool. And I hope you picked up some tidbits from this discussion and we can like chit chat here. We got some Q&A. I just wanted to thank you guys for being so awesome and being here and being part of our community. I think it's really cool. If anybody has any questions or if Elaine has anybody's questions that we can.
I know nobody has put anything in the chat, but I do want to let the viewers know if you do have a question for Claire, just hit and unmute yourself, ask the question, and then remute yourself. Has anybody got any questions? It's always hard to get the first one. It's like they're shy at first.
I know. I understand because I have been in their shoes and I have not wanted to ask questions like back in college. In high school, I was the smart kid and I never had to ask any questions and I just got everything all the time. And then I went to college and things got harder and I didn't really know how to ask questions. So I really had to push myself past that as I got
Yeah.
older and it got easier to talk to people. It became easier. But now that I'm like this, I don't care. I'm asking questions. Like if I have a question, I'm asking a question. I don't care. I don't think I'm dumb. I think it's smart to ask questions. So I definitely just throw anything out there that I have a curiosity about because
I'm the same. I'm the same. I think there's that vulnerability of speaking up in front of a group that always stops people at first. And then once somebody has done it, the floodgates always open every week. Once somebody has asked questions, everybody kind of pipes in. I'll ask you
Okay,
some.
so I
Oh,
have
good.
I have a question.
Hey, Jess.
hi, Jessica.
Hi guys, how are you? You did great, Claire. I love this. So
Oh, thank
informative for
you.
someone that has never done a competition. Where could we go to find out competitions that are going on? Is there like a place? Is there somewhere that we could go to? Like, I don't know, I wouldn't even know where to start, but that sounds interesting.
I think Elaine would be like the perfect
Yeah.
person to answer this because she is like the competition queen.
Well,
But
I know
I
the
think you
best
could
place to
probably.
always start is a magazine. Usually, the magazines will announce if there's competitions and who's hosting them and where they are. Scratch has Olympia, which kind of partial to. Big fan of Scratch. Big fan of Olympia. But yeah, Jess, like Olympia in particular does have online competitions now. They evolved since COVID. So they have, even if they're doing an in-person competition in, say, London, they do have categories that are submitted. You can either do a nail art box and mail it in and they'll judge it there, or they may have categories where you do it online the way that Claire did with NASNA, where you submit your digital format. I know particularly the next competition in London, I think it is in August, there is an online element because I'm judging. So yeah, start with Olympia. I know there's a few other global competitions and I don't want to get their names wrong, but start with the magazines.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great question. Thanks, Jessica.
I think it's great that Claire came on here because number one is so vulnerable to be like, I'm going to come on here and teach you and be an expert on something I went one step into. But that's not really the case because what she's not really saying is she's been helping Hope and Ashley with their competitions through their journey. Like they did a group chat, they helped each other. There was conversations about ideas that sparked better ideas. The cool thing about being new in a competition, if you're smart and get your head in the right space, is don't put a high level of expectation of winning on yourself unless you're this amazing artist because you don't know what to expect in a competition and you learned that right out the gate. What you think the judges want from you sometimes isn't even anywhere near that, right? Because it can be subliminal sometimes. I think jumping into a competition as a newbie, call it your collection of information competition so that you could jump into the next one and go in it with more knowledge, which I'm so excited, Claire, you're going to do it again because I think now you have all this extra knowledge and you're just going to kill it.
I hope so. I definitely would have to practice a lot. I need to do all the things that I said that I should do.
Yeah, but you didn't know that, right? You
Right.
only know what you know. You don't know something. You can't predict the future. You don't know what's going to be thrown at you. You don't know there's going to be suddenly all this 3D work if you, and you've never done it, which by the way, when we did Nailed It, that television show on Oxygen, one of our
Hmm.
gosh, I'm trying to think of which one. So many of them went on to be famous in our industry. And it's one of it might be Winnie. I think Winnie, she had never done a 3D and had to do it on television. Like her first competition, I think it was the bridal flowers. Yeah. So, yeah, you're not the first to be suddenly thrown into a competition and have to do something you've never done before. It's so awesome to push your boundaries like that in a tense situation.
You
Yeah.
learn so much, just
Yeah.
different ways to do things, and there's a lot to be gained, I think,
I'm glad you
for sure.
touched on the photography, the videography, and the editing because that's the last thing I think a new competitor would even think about. You're so thinking about what you have to do for nails that you don't even realize you have to overnight become an expert in photography, videography, and editing because you have that's part of the submission. We actually judge those things. Yeah, it's crazy.
For sure.
Does anybody
And
have any?
another thing I would throw in is like the that I forgot was maybe like the rules too, because sometimes the rules can be a little tricky. And if you have questions about that, I would make sure to just email someone that's in the loop of that so you can get your answers as quickly as possible. Because as
Yeah.
you're working and you're like, can I do this? Can I do that? Definitely, I
You
would
know,
have
as
just
a
like
sponsoring
get
brand, we had
clarity on that.
as a sponsoring brand because Light Elegance sponsored the competition, and so one of the weeks everybody had to do was our products and our theme. And even as a seasoned head judge, when I wrote the theme and the rules, in my mind, I like to think I want to put less rules on a competitor because I don't want to push them into this tiny box of you have to do this. I want artists to be able to expand and give me something I've never seen before. But in following Hope's journey in particular, because she's made it now to the final 10 and hopefully into the final three, we had a competition theme just recently where there were so few rules that it almost sets a competitor over the edge because you're like, okay, can I do my nails super long or do they have to be short? Can I do 3D or does it have to be flat? It's almost as a company, as a brand sponsoring, we almost do need to give a little bit more guidance and rules because you give too few and it makes the competitors crazy. I learned that about this particular competition and definitely will adjust next year. Yeah.
For that first like wild card, they said we couldn't use white, black, or orange and do a Halloween design. So that was a little bit tough. And I'm like, okay, so am I not able to put white like into any other color? Or I don't know, it was like weird because I was like, okay, so I'm gonna try
Yeah.
to do highlights, but I can't use white. Or I'm trying to outline something, like how do I make so
As,
that
yeah,
was
as
an
a
interesting
judge,
one.
the best advice I can give to a new competitor is if it doesn't say you can't do something, you actually can. So it said you can't use white, but it didn't say you can't mix white. So yes, you can mix it. So the way, like, okay, back in the early days, oh, this is reaching so far back. They were bending tips. So they wanted tight C curves and they weren't allowed to pinch. And so in the tip competition, they would bring like burners and a pot of water, and they would dip their tips into the hot water and then pinch them narrower to make the nails look longer and thinner. But that particular year, we didn't say you can't use a hot plate. So people used hot plates. So then the next year we had to evolve the rules and take out the hot plate. People were showing up with lighters and melting the plastic with lighters, almost caught fires. We had to say in that next year's rules, no lighters. So even through this working with you and Ashley and Hope, we've had a lot of conversations where I'm like, if the rules don't say you cannot do this, you can. But you should
Mhm.
always ask. It's always good to ask. Better to ask and be wrong and ahead of time and know and fix it and do it right than to get scored down. You don't want to lose points. Does anybody have any questions? Claire and I can talk like this all day.
It's a good conversation though.
It is. Since nobody's asking questions, I will say to the group, since you all have signed up, if you want a copy of the recorded video, they will go out in your emails within 24 to 48 hours. Anybody who didn't get to tune in won't know this, but anybody that signs up gets the video ahead of time within that 48 hours. The rest of the world only gets it 2 weeks later on YouTube. So there is a benefit to signing up, whether or not you can make the live, because we'll always send you the video. So yeah, tune in weekly, sign up for the Zoom link, and we'll always send you it if you are unable to make it. I think that's all we've got, unless anybody has a question. So you did my closing for me. Thank you. Make sure you check out LEU, check out lightelegance.com, our social medias. We have hashtag new to LE on Facebook where you can communicate with our LE community and all of the educators who have an educator title on their handle. You're getting help. Yeah, and we may see you in Orlando. Visit us in our Orlando booth this coming month. All right. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Claire. Appreciate you sharing your knowledge with everybody and being vulnerable and letting them know about this difficult thing that you did. And Ace, you're so amazing.
Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate you guys too having me on here and listening to me about my stuff. So hope
Yeah.
everybody got something good from it.
Yeah. And everybody tune in next week. You'll see Christy Angel
Yeah,
do some nails.
see Christy. Yay.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye.